special call meeting, February the 10th, is to determine the candidates to interview. Well, let me first open up with, is there anyone here to address the board on this topic or any other non-agenda item? If not, I'll open up for discussion. At some point, if it lags on, I'll ask for a motion. One way or the other. I'm willing to listen and to participate. Does anybody have any feelings one way or the other? Anybody?
I do.
Okay.
I have some fine feelings. I spent a tremendous amount of time looking at all of them. I have looked at not only the resumes. I know these people. They don't know that I know them, but I know them. I've looked at all their social media. I have watched their YouTube presentations. I have read articles that they've written, and I want to say how much I admire and appreciate people for showing an interest in Tullahoma City Schools, because we all know that we are fabulous. But it takes a lot to apply for these positions, and we need to consider that because all of their information is public, and that's a big step. I can't think of any other situation where you apply for a job, you don't even know if you're going to be one of the top people, yet people can know your names and if you're going to be interviewed. So I really respect them for taking the time to be interested in Tullahoma and know about Tullahoma and just apply for the position. In saying that, I've not met them. I do not know them. I only know them through their resume, through social media, through their articles they've written, and YouTubes. By the way, you all, there's a number of YouTubes and where they're doing presentations, and that, to me, was a great place. It takes a lot of time. Hello. And also because I trust TSBA. I think that Tammy has been in education for 31 years. She has a team of people that looked at our applicants and that matched what they felt were the best applicants to the criteria that was given to them based on community feedback, employee feedback, and board feedback. And I think that they did their job. And I see some excellent things going on here and look forward to meeting the candidates. With that being said, should I just say which ones I'm interested in interviewing? Or
I would prefer that you come up with a number that you want to interview, all 5 or 4, 3, 2.
I would like to interview 4.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Is that what you need?
Yeah.
Well, what about other
Yeah,
I think before we make a motion, we should.
Well, if we get a motion in a second, then I'll ask for discussion. We discuss it all night long.
Okay. Second.
Second. All right, and let me say this. If you're thinking about what the procedure is going to be, what I would ask is when we get to that point, if the motion for less than 5 passes, I'm going to ask that everybody put down the like amount of candidates, those names, sign it, and then Ms. Vaughn will tally it, and we'll interview the top 4, or if that motion passes, or the top 3 if that motion is made and passed. Does everybody follow me? Okay. Any other?
I would just reiterate
motion by
too.
Ms. Usleton and second by Ms. Robinson. Go ahead.
And I would reiterate what Kim said. I think that there is. I spent a lot of time this weekend also, and there's a lot you can discover if you get out there and look. There's, as she said, there's YouTube videos, there's a lot on social media. I spoke to some of the references, and so, I feel like I do have better information than when I left here on Wednesday, a better idea about candidates, and I would be very comfortable with interviewing 4. But whatever the board decides, you know.
Any other comments?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm disappointed that we did not have local candidates apply, because that was one of the criteria that was listed for the community and the staff as someone who loves Tullahoma. And I would have liked to have seen a local candidate, because I think we have excellent individuals here in our community and our staff as well. Having said that, what concerns me here is and correct me if I'm wrong, but based on what I looked at, there's only one candidate that has any superintendent experience. The rest have not. There are 2, I believe, or maybe 2, I think, that only have elementary experience.
That's right.
There's 2.
So I guess, I just would like more candidates to look at based on paper, but I'm only one.
But there's actually 2. One of them had assistant superintendent.
Well, as far as an actual superintendent at the helm, I think there's only one. So I just want to go on record saying I would like to see more candidates. There were 29, and based on most of these are Nashville area, Franklin, Nashville, I think some Murfreesboro. Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I'm not excited over, I'll just be honest, based on what I've looked at on paper and what I've pulled up social media too and looked at. For me, there's only 3 that I would, but it's like I think Sid said earlier at the last meeting, I just don't want to waste their time and our time too. And I think we have a great responsibility. This is our second time to make sure that we get it right. I'm in no hurry, and I want to see candidates. And if I'm not, and I know we have to go through the interview process, I understand that, but they're just, I would, like I said, I would just like to see more candidates.
So would you like to see more candidates before we interview anybody?
I'd like to see more candidates with, especially Tullahoma. We are so fabulous, as Kim says, that I would think that we should be able to attract especially the way our school system is. And now basing this, like I said, I had not met these individuals and don't know them. But I just think out of 29 applications, I would like to see more.
It's all very interesting, right? So when you look at it and look at this packet, it can be a little confusing because we may deem a position as such. So there's a coordinator of data and assessment, where I look at that one way. And then you look at another candidate, and they've been an assistant superintendent, but it's in a smaller school district, but they don't have high school experience. So it's very challenging. And I know it's not an answer to the question, but you also have to look at the school system, the size of the system, the structure. I remember we went through a search, and it was wound up being a failed search, because when we really looked at it, this is Motlow, and when we really looked at it, the situation, the title may have appeared to be, just for example, theme, but it may really have been what we do currently, what the curriculum chair would have done. I'm just giving an example. So I'm struggling with this, but I would definitely agree with you. I think 4, no more than 4, based upon the packet. and then for us to continue to research and review as to go through the process. Now, I think if we're talking about opening it up, that would be another motion, right? Because we have a motion on the floor. So not necessarily I disagree with you on that.
And I appreciate that point because I do think it's difficult as you look at these and you have to really take that into account, the size of the system, where they are and what that job title means. And it's difficult to do on paper.
It really is, yeah. How big is the Franklin Special School District? What's the population?
I believe it's 4 elementary,
Right.
1 intermediate, and 1 middle. And I'd have to defer to somebody that knows more about the
I
difference
pulled
between
up,
intermediate.
I used the data dashboard this weekend.
Yes.
And I pulled up all their systems on that data dashboard, and you can look and it will tell you the number of schools, the number of students, the number of teachers. And so I can pull that one up for you. And, you know, that's one way that because you can get all those statistics about every system. Because that's nice to know.
It's a great website.
And it tells you some interesting statistics about Tullahoma. They have 8 schools, 3,612 students, 335 teachers, and their student-teacher ratio is 10.78. So they are larger than us.
But they don't have a high school.
But they do not have
Right,
a
that's
high
what I'm saying.
school.
So it's
They do not have a high school. Teacher-wise, you know, we have 233, I think. There are 335. So if you were looking at management, you know, how many people have they managed and things like that. There's
Any other comments?
I guess my biggest concern was I really feel that a candidate should have high school experience. It's kind of a bottom line thing for me. So that was a tough one.
That was important to us, but the feedback from our staff, that wasn't one of their top criteria. So I'm trying to weigh what everybody wants.
Regardless of what would come out here, I hope that everybody will continue to look. I've called several references. In fact, I've called the Commissioner of Education, State Commissioner of Education, and I'm going to continue to follow up on those and continue to study.
And I called, but I did not call the references. I called people outside of the references because I've done the reference thing before.
yeah, people are going to put down those who can speak
Well,
highly of them.
yeah, they're open.
right.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll call the question. The motion, Ms. Vaughn, is that we interview 4 candidates. All those in favor of the motion, please respond by raising your hand. Any opposed? Okay. Then the next part of business then would be to put 4 down. Sign your ballot, please, and let Ms. Vaughn have it.
You want name or number? You want the name?
Yeah, name.
We have to put forward,
Pardon me?
we have to put forward now. Because I'm gonna struggle.
Well, that's on it. Just put down how many. As long as we get 4 numbers and names at some point. I need to get mine back in this side. I'm sorry.
Do I have to sign?
Yeah, they need to.
On the record.
So sweet. Clifton, are y'all flooding?
Not yet.
Good, I hope you don't. I think they did have to call school.
Oh.
They did it at 10 o'clock.
Because of
I
flooding.
think they've already called that.
Did Marlo have to?
We haven't answered yet.
Okay.
Because we were out 2 days last week.
Yeah.
Not yet though.
100 days out and free the teachers and administrators.
It's supposed to rain for 4 days, so it's going to be
She
interesting.
said, "Really?"
Isn't it supposed to rain?
Monday through Thursday.
My boots are getting.
Shut your sunroofs, make sure to do that.
Oh, did you leave yours open?
I don't think I've ever opened mine. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got
If you
one.
talk to Ms. Johnson, you may never open it.
Much more.
Got distracted by a shiny object and I forgot to shut it. What's the car?
The case.
Uh-huh.
Is this her?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
If I can work it, anybody can work it. Be honest.
All right.
What is this one? What is this?
Assume all right, just read that top four. Nichols, Stevens, Osborne, and White.
Now, wait a minute, who did?
Nichols, Stevens, Osborne, and White. And that will lead us, I guess I can call this meeting closed, but we need to stay and help